teams will represent North America at the Western Clash in the coming weeks. 2 of those teams have been decided, but for the other 3 teams that have a shot at the last 2 spots, well, that's going to be a close one for sure. I'm Gilly Weed here with Jay-How, and Jay-How, can you believe it is already the end of Part 1, Phase 2? It flew by.
It seems fast. I mean, we got here pretty rapidly. Some things changed, some things still stayed the same, but nonetheless, as you said, we've got a killer weekend to kind of wrap things up here.
A couple of matches that have a lot of contention over our standings, and speaking of things that staying the same, well, HeroesHearth Esports is staying consistent in their gameplay levels, and for them, you know, they weren't able to take the top of the standings away from Tempo Storm at the end of last phase, but they're sure as heck keeping a hold of it here. Nothing will stop them from being #1 seed. Even if they lost this match versus Simplicity, they would remain the #1 seed. Tempo Storm, their seeding and placement in the standings not guaranteed yet. It is possible they could be overtaken by Team Freedom themselves. And then Freedom, Endemic, Octalysis, they're those 3 teams that we talk about having a lot of fight all the way through these last couple of days of HGC play to see who comes out on top and gets to go to the Western Clash.
I can't even try and break this down, the way that the series play out. It'll be clear after today, a bit clearer. Not completely clear, but as we saw some action earlier in the day, Gilly, Fnatic took down Monkey Menagerie, but Team Liquid and Method closing out EU today. At last game seemed like it took an entire series to end.
Yeah, it was at lengths a long game, but Liquid getting that win over Method, I do believe, impacts the standings and the seeding for them in their last match, as they both will be coming to the Western Clash. For Fnatic, now their fate's out of their hands. They are relying on how Leftovers does tomorrow. If Leftovers wins that match, Fnatic will not be at a Western Clash for the first time, I think, ever in HGC history. Later on, Freedom versus Octalysis, that's where we'll be breaking down a bit more how things are going to shake out depending on who's winning that match. But first, Simplicity will take on our NA's top team, HeroesHearth Esports.
Simplicity is a tale of 2 teams. Sometimes they look great, sometimes not so great. And we kind of are trying to figure out if they're going to eventually live up to the hype that we know they have within them. They lost to No Tomorrow and LFM last weekend, crushing defeats for them. And so this is a rebound week, but your rebound week is against HeroesHearth, the most dominant team in North America over the last 4 to 5 months outside of the Clash. It's not going to be easy. They might be having a difficult break, some soul searching to do before they come back to Part 2.
Well, there are a lot of veterans in this match, a lot of professionals who have been in the scene of Heroes of the Storm North America since the beginning of Heroes Esports infancy. And so let's hear from 2 of them as they offer up their opinions on this match.
I think HeroesHearth is the team with the most synergy in North America right now. It really shows in their team fighting and their crisp rotations. They're also, I think, the best drafting team. So right now, I'd definitely say they stand out as the #1 team in NA. Like I said, we're going to be just looking to snag some maps. I mean, there's definitely the potential for an upset, but most importantly, we just want to get our map score up.
Going into the weekend, looking at Simplicity, they're such a team that thrives on pressure and on the games that mean the most. For them, this game this weekend is very important to keep them out of the bottom of the HGC rankings. For that reason, our team won't be taking them lightly, as this is a game that is important to them, regardless of, you know, how well it puts us in the standings. You know, players like Zuna, when their backs are to the wall, they tend to fight even harder than they normally would have to. Simplicity contains a lot of players that used to be teammates of mine. So matching up, you know, against Zuna in the solo lane, here we are 2 years later, it is exciting for me to be able to, you know, show off my talent and put up against an opponent that is a friend and is a past teammate. So it should be very fun for me, and it is an exciting series.
exciting series for McIntyre, but make no mistake, still one that is heavily favored toward HeroesHearth Esports. King Caffeine talked about, if nothing else, just trying to get some game wins, try to end this part of the phase before you go into a break with as much of a good feeling as you can coming out of this match, especially since last weekend was awful for Simplicity. Losing to LFM, that was 4 games, and then reverse swept by No Tomorrow. It was No Tomorrow's first win this phase, which is great for them to see, but it was a rough one for Simplicity.
The aggression that we know comes out from Simplicity, if the HeroesHearth team that we saw last week against Tempo Storm, I've never seen a more patient approach to maps before that we saw from HeroesHearth. They are excellent at aggressing forward. They are excellent at counterpunching. They are excellent at map control and macro control overall. And if we see that same style of patient play and Simplicity is just looking for picks, I feel the counterpunching is going to come in here for HeroesHearth. And so for Simplicity this weekend, yes, it's a tough weekend. I don't know if they could feel any worse than they would. They're going to have some time to go back, recoup, rediscover who they are. Their drafting has looked better. Their execution still leaves a little bit to be desired, but I think drafting-wise for them, it's a step forward in the right direction.
Well, I think the concern and the issue for me, as you talk about the aggression, is that it's 2 different teams that still are aggressive. Crowan said he thinks that they're the best team fighting team in all of North America, but Simplicity, they pride themselves on team fighting, but it's largely been individual playmaking versus the best synergy in all of North America. And so we know what'll come out on top there, and that should be synergy, unless Simplicity truly can pull apart and make HeroesHearth play to their game, and I just don't think that HeroesHearth is going to do that. But let's head into the map pool and see exactly where we'll be getting those team fights to kick things off. It's Towers of Doom, Simplicity getting their favorite battleground back after a couple of teams have banded against them. What's interesting to me, though, as we look at the bans, HeroesHearth Esports banning Tomb, a favorite of theirs. What gives? Do you have ideas here, maybe?
Those quick rotations, those snap rotations, we've seen some Garrosh play from King Caffeine. The aggression is easy to find on Tomb of the Spider Queen, so if you can find ways to avoid that on larger battlegrounds, Tomb of the Spider Queen being one of our smallest battlegrounds, but one of the easiest to rotate on, so they take that type of play away from Simplicity, I think, with that ban.
I think Simplicity did pick it for the first time, it being Tomb last weekend. Also makes me wonder if HeroesHearth, who has been able to hide quite a lot throughout this entire phase, is playing for keeps this Western Clash. It may be simply that if this is a favored battleground from them, they just want to limit any more information that possibly could be given to any teams studying up on them, teams coming in from Europe who want to get a jump on HeroesHearth, or it could be the early game aggression and trying to keep Simplicity away from that. Either way, we're getting things going. Sergeant Hammer ban from HeroesHearth Esports, Abathur from Simplicity.
Hammer, Abathur, Genji. I'd be surprised if this is not a Tracer ban. Hanzo, I think, would be the other hero. Unless you anticipate getting Hanzo in the second pick department, which HeroesHearth is comfortable doing, taking Yrel as a first pick. So Tracer and Hanzo have both made it through. See if Yrel, though, still holds out in the hierarchy in first picks.
Well, you look at HeroesHearth Esports and you talk about first pick, and I think it's possible we see another Johanna here, or they were starting to pick more Muradin, even over Johanna when she was available on certain battlegrounds last weekend, understanding that with the next level of bans coming in, it was entirely likely that they weren't going to get Johanna as much as they did. Things like Blazer still up, Yrel too. HeroesHearth, though, they take Yrel, and that is a great denial against Simplicity. Simplicity have looked strongest, or close to their strongest at the very least, whenever Zuna gets Yrel.
Saw a Murky over your shoulder in that screenshot. We had a little Throwback Thursday action to Murky's moment. That was on our Heroes Esports Twitter yesterday. As Raynor makes it through, and Malfurion. Raynor seemingly finding his way further down the drafts as we saw in EU. Still very strong, but a little less favored than we've seen in that opening week.
Yeah, I expected that to be a Phoenix, given that both of these teams really like Phoenix, and K1 Pro showed a ton of Phoenix play last weekend. However, HeroesHearth Esports now gets Phoenix. It's possible we might have that followed up later on with a Thrall pick for Arthalon, unless it's banned here. But then getting Muradin too for Ishbu.
Well, the Muradin, I kind of expected Simplicity to go that route.
Same.
The play that we've seen from King Caffeine on that, I think has been standout for that team. Jaina's going to be the ban. But we've seen Garrosh banned against Simplicity a lot as of late. And I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in here, although Muradin does well against Garrosh. Phoenix gives control with the Plasma Cutter, and Yrel, she's going to live there anyway, so you could let Garrosh through with this composition where it is now.
Jaina seems a nice ban for Simplicity, given that what we have seen with this Muradin and Yrel dual frontline for teams, they want to be diving deep into the enemy team, and you need to have range damage dealers who can sort of take care of themselves along with the support. Phoenix does that. He has a warp. Jaina would have done that too, having Ice Block. Just the slows alone can allow her to get out of a lot of different things. HeroesHearth is going to ban Dahaka now, so there is some focus here on Zuna. Zuna very likely to move into Blaze now.
Blaze seems likely. There it is, the Johanna Blaze. So the double safety net against a Phoenix. Blaze, you can hop into the bunker. Tranquility will also be available. Raynor can get armor. So tremendous amount of control and defense. See what that last pick is, but for HeroesHearth, we need another damage dealer. Tracer's available, but Tracer into this comp isn't ideal. Hanzo still available, Gilly. Hanzo making his way all the way down, and a Hanzo Phoenix for HeroesHearth has spelled trouble for everybody. And it starts with the Hanzo.
It sure does. And he'll be back now too, giving some more sapper control to the team, especially with that Rhaegar too. Don't underestimate his ability to add to that. Final pick now for Simplicity, and they too are waiting to see what range damage dealer will add to that. Possibly Li Ming is what I was thinking too.
Ooh.
But no, they'll bring Tracer to the battlefield. Should be a Hosty Tracer? No. Wow. Can you recall a K1 Pro Tracer? Have you seen that? That sounds fun.
Negative Ghost Rider.
I'm excited. He has not played her all of this phase, but we do know that he and Hosty are trading back and forth some of their heroes, trying to figure out what's going to work best for them role-wise. Turns out it's a K1 Pro Tracer. I'm pumped.
I'm terrified. Hey, look, K1 Pro, we're going to give you Tracer. Oh, neat. I get to play this really fun hero because I can dive and kill people. Oh, by the way, you're playing into a Hanzo and a Phoenix. Yeah, can we redraft? I mean, I feel like that's got to be coming up. The Li Ming stands out with this team. I think that would have been a safer pick. Tracer into this style of play is very difficult. If they pull it off, it's going to look good, but...
Well, we both thought it would be Li Ming, and she was still up, so why then do you think that Simplicity wanted to pick Tracer over Li Ming in this instance?
There's just not a ton of lockdown on the other side that you have to be fearful of. It's just the poke and return. The lack of CC is nice, but the amount of damage coming right back into your face is more terrifying to me, though.
Even nicer. Simplicity's in the blue. Hosty playing Raynor. K1 Pro will be zipping around the battlefield as Tracer. King Caffeine on Johanna, not one of his favorites, but still one that he is more than willing to play. Tiger JK on Malfurion. And finally, Zuna is back on Blaze.
For HeroesHearth, trying to keep their undefeated record intact, it will be BBJ on that Rhaegar. Ishbu, we know how empowering he can be on that Muradin on the front line. McIntyre, he'll be in that solo lane on Yrel. Arthlon, a standout this phase. He'll be on the Phoenix. And Kroan on a hero. I think we might have heard Kroan play this guy before. Hanzo.
Once or twice. You know what I love? Ishbu rocking a Muradin on a Tempest mount. That's what I love. Channeling his inner Hong Kono. And if that doesn't mean Haymaker, if that doesn't scream Haymaker, then I just don't know what to do with this.
I won't complain if we get it. I always like a good Haymaker. The bowling ball sound is a favorite of mine. Everything standard, though, between these two teams. If we're going to get aggression, it starts in about 10 seconds. And that's when we see the top laners start to rotate down. Right now, we haven't seen that yet.
HBU coming in. Johanna's been left in the mid. Tracer can rotate back around where she's needed to help out. Johanna can do the same. For HeroesHearth, though, what we have gleaned from HeroesHearth and how they want to play the game right now is fairly slow. They may give a little bit up. Not a ton, but somewhat. Like the 2 of the 3 altars in the first phase, for instance. Just somewhat of a lead, unless there's outstanding instances, like when they played versus Cho'Gath, they needed to be aggressive early. But for them, it's all about when they reach crucial spikes to them, and a lot of the times that revolves around heroic abilities. So for them, they're just looking to play this out safely, and that's why we did see Arthalon for a long time in the mid lane, just keeping that safe, while Ishbu was anchoring back and forth, and the rest was holding bottom.
There are small plays that are made in the game that I think are oftentimes unseen. What I saw was Blaze come down to the mid lane. I'm watching the mini-map this entire time. Blaze come down to the mid lane to double soak, and he was there in case they wanted to invade or to deny an invade. McIntyre stayed clearing the lane, and then he came down, hit Blaze in the rotation back up to the top, denied him XP, body blocked him, and I was watching the mini-map struggle. It's plays like that. You see the experience lead? That's due to McIntyre in the top lane. It's such a standout play, and you're like, well, how do they get this lead? How do they manage to have marginally better experience? It's because of the small play of denial of XP. It's the small things that HeroesHearth does so well that puts them a cut above a lot of teams. Yeah,
and that is back to the idea of individual versus team play. HeroesHearth has the ability to make those kinds of individual plays, each and every person on this team, but where they also excel and sit above every other team in NA is how they put that together synergistically. We're going to see the first instance of a pulse bomb hits Crowan. He uses his natural agility out, so he doesn't take any more damage from that. And they'll start the channel in the bottom. K1 Pro gets in for the harassment. Now finds himself separated from the rest. I don't think he had recall there, so he got taken out first blood.
He went in. Level 7 might have been able to get out, but HeroesHearth stretching their lead even further. Diving into this team as a Tracer will be difficult, not just now, but the entire game. And for those that are wondering, we are not on the live patch, so the Tracer nerf is not in effect on this one. The auto attack damage has not been nerfed. The pulse bomb percentage at level 10 has not been nerfed. That will be live at the Western Clash, not live this weekend.
What I'm scared about is things like Arsenal Synergy and Scatter Arrow. If she tries to recall out, you're not guaranteed that that's going to keep you alive or burn all of your blink charges. You may still be in range more than you realize versus these 2 backline damage dealers.
Trading out with that, the Arsenal Synergy, you just get the 3 autos and you just sit on it. And the minute Tracer comes in range, you're like, why does that hurt so much? It's a terrible feeling. And I think Arthalon can really punish the Tracer with that. This is also, Phoenix has not been nerfed yet, still on that same patch that Tracer will be on.
So that thing packs even more of a punch. Nature's Cure used after the Stormbolt came in, hit K1 Pro. It's a nice force out from HeroesHearth Esports, who's still maintaining the experience lead in this game so far. Next altar phase will be activating soon. There is some sappers pushing in this bottom lane, which is going to keep HeroesHearth here for the time being as they attempt to clear that out. But knowing that likely the solos will just do their thing, go and try to take their safe altars, we're looking at a trade.
Hey, you get that one over there? Okay, you got that one over there? Cool. We'll meet up again in a while. All right. See ya.
Bye. Hugs and kisses.
Soon in McIntyre, I can see it now. XO in chat.
Old friends, old teammates, and now rivals on the same role. It's really awesome to see.
Right now, nobody's really established control. The only threat of a kill that we saw was during the altar phase, and that double altar at the top. Not much to worry about there. For HeroesHearth, they are closer to 10. See if they choose to be aggressive. The small play by BBJ there, getting the dive onto the back minion, to close that gap, to put himself into body block position, potentially totem position, but no follow-up there.
Now, a couple of teams have been trying their hand at Bloodlust, and with a Phoenix and a Hanzo, any chance you're seeing that happen here? We do have a give him the axe.
Just Tracer comes in, you scare her away, or you just Ancestral.
Ancestral, but a Planet Cracker. In case Phoenix gets stuck down in the bottom lane, keeping control of that lane, can still offer up his services with a Planet Cracker. Still waiting on heroic abilities from Simplicity. We've seen a little bit of Rainer's Raider action, and it will continue here for Hosty as we have our first post-heroic ability fight coming up pretty soon. Perfect place, the mid-bot altar should be the place where we start to see this game open up.
Yeah, turn off that opera music. It's time to turn on that rock music. Things about to get amped up here. It's been quiet up until this point.
A little too quiet.
A little too quiet for everybody. It's like, wait, we're starting in A. Tiger JK is going to start the channel. King Caffeine goes in for the interrupt, uses the Iron Skin. Nice hammer by McIntyre. The Fire's going to get the channel interrupt, and here comes our fight.
Channel bot did work out for Simplicity now as K1 Pro weaves in and out of this fight, trying to do what he can, what is necessary to keep this stalled out from HeroesHearth. Now Simplicity, everyone's here. Zuna starting to heal back up, needed the fire from that as he did sustain some poke damage from HeroesHearth.
This poke area for Crowan, those scatter arrows are chunking damage. Right now the standoff continues. HeroesHearth, again the favorites in this series. K1 Pro takes a chunk of damage. That Arsenal synergy chunked out so much of that. It's forced the Tranquility, and now Simplicity with that. They're moving forward. Blessed Shield is out.
Blessed Shield, Pulse Bomb 2 nearly takes the life of BBJ, and it does before he can get back in and be able to heal up. But we'll see if HeroesHearth can still fight back. They take out a kill on Zuna, making it a 1-for-1, using the Planet Cracker to bust down that bunker as it came out, but Phoenix goes down too. It's a 2-for-1. McIntyre in danger, already used Ardent Defender. He turns around, and with an Ishbu with Avatar, they will take out another one. 3 for 3. It's a bloodbath in game one, all over this single altar.
Well, you didn't get a bloodlust, but you're getting a bloodbath. Iron Skin is out. Crowan, he's trying to see if he can confirm the kill, continuing to auto, tries to get the explosive arrow damage. Not enough. Several members from both teams are finding their way back onto the battleground. King Caffeine establishing some control. Crowan trying to interrupt, but the flashlight comes out. There's a stall. Zuna, can he get here in time? Just does.
BBJ still has Ancestral Healing because it wasn't used before he went down at the last time. That's going to be a boon for HeroesHearth Esports that they still have that. Dragon's Arrow will be back up in a few seconds too. Jet Propulsion connects. Zuna has the bunker again, and the follow-up damage really good from Hosty and crew to chunk down Ishbu's health bar.
Oh, that blind hit at a crucial moment onto Arthlon as the auto was going over towards K1. McIntyre finds his way. The standoff, we expected a fight. I did not expect a fight this long. The one thing that is here is creeping up is level 13 for HeroesHearth, which is why we see them staggered in the mid and bot lane. They can get 13. They'll have the advantage not only in XP, but that talent tier. See if they force the action then.
K1 Pro has a Pulse Bomb, saw him whittling down the shielding of the shield capacitor. Heard a Dragon's Arrow, Nature's Cure takes care of that, but the channel happens. All enough for HeroesHearth to get that altar, but J-How? That wasn't that easy. Not easy at all.
It took a while. Once 13 came in, Simplicity's like, maybe we should leave now. This was fun while it lasted. They did trade out. Despite that going on for so long, it was a double altar phase during that time. HeroesHearth, they're coming in with the talent tier, and they're bullying their way in, taking the sappers away from Simplicity. They're close to 13, and when they hit 13, they might put their foot on the gas and try and get into the side of HeroesHearth.
Well, that's going to be a lot harder if they end up losing this bell tower, and with so many sappers coming in, they're going to get aggressive. There's the 13 doing what they can to stop this before any more damage has hit that bell tower. Again, seeing the Planet Cracker break down the bunker, but there's quite a difference in the cooldown timers of those heroic abilities.
60 versus 100. Which one do you want?
60. Wait, Was that a trick question?
I actually don't know. Just sounded cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized it didn't, so, you know, you just roll with it.
Yep.
Hammer, ready to roll out.
If that's not a core tenet of our job, I don't know what is. Ready to roll with it. Next to altar phase, they'll be spawning in 25 seconds. This is a single altar phase. Last time this happened, things went on for a while.
Same place, same location. See if we get the same length of fight. Pulse Bomb does scale up well. K1 Pro's options have been extremely limited, Gilly. And
Yes.
HeroesHearth, they're split. They're forcing their way in from the top. See if they can regroup as Tiger JK starts the channel.
Well, last time Ishbu took a lot of damage in the fights. He is taking some here, but the difference is healing static. Also, Aldor Peacekeeper is some damage reduction, because 13 wasn't there when the last time this fight happened around the same place. Over the other side, though, Ricochet, Giddy Up, more movement speed for Hosty, and of course Ice Block may make the difference for Tiger JK being able to live through a long, drawn-out fight if the fight comes his way. Look at this poke damage, though.
Crowan doing work. McIntyre getting into the fight.
Arrow.
Dragon Arrow get max range on that follow-up with the Planet Cracker. Ice Block was used. Bunker is there. Tranquility still going to get some healing out as Simplicity. They're still very low. Ishbu with the stun. The follow-up. Can they take down Hosty? He gets the self-heal, walks away, and the fight on both fronts. HeroesHearth seemingly get the best. See if Simplicity can tap well and get in time. Doesn't appear to be so. HeroesHearth stretching that lead.
Yeah, I think it was really the poke damage initially, and then the long-range Dragon's Arrow. It hit a lot of people. Nature's Cure couldn't be used because Malfurion was hit by that Dragon's Arrow. But then the follow-up damage seemed like it would be able to take out Tiger JK, but he made it into Ice Block in time. The thing is he had to jump in and out. The bunker was around there too. They just couldn't quite heal up to the same effect so that they could contest this. So now Simplicity's starting to fall farther behind. Looking at the core health, they're going to try to force something else before 16's here for HeroesHearth. K1 Pro continuing to move in, but with an Ancestral Healing being used on Ishbu, he is plenty safe to make it out of there.
The rotation down by Simplicity. Zuna made his way down long before McIntyre did. But this bell tower is extremely low. This is all hands on deck if you're Simplicity. There's the knockback. Buys some time. 16 here for HeroesHearth. The body blocking by McIntyre. Zuna not able to get in yet. Finally finds his way in. Tranquility is out. Ishbu dwarf tosses away, just dodges the Blessed Shield.
Well, King Caffeine may not have been able to hit anything with the Blessed Shield, but he did use his Iron Skin and eat up the Dragon's Arrow too, playing well, moving forward, moving his team forward as Arthalon nearly falls. Ishbu goes into Avatar knowing that he's going to take damage from that Pulse Bomb. But behind this, Simplicity's willingness to be aggressive ensures that they don't lose that bell tower, and HeroesHearth has been working quite a lot at being able to secure that. But Simplicity now sent a bunch of people back. HeroesHearth are going to move back in and finally bring this bell tower down, and it's right ahead of this next triple altar phase.
One thing that pros do a lot that you don't see in casual play, there it's obvious. But if you're ever just looking for vision as a Hanzo, just put your scatter arrow on structures that does damage. Always use it on structures unless you're trying to snipe a hero. But every little bit counts as we get a fight underway here at the top. Simplicity moving forward onto the side of HeroesHearth, who does have control. There's going to be the stun. There's the follow-up. K1 Pro able to blink his way out. King Caffeine does not share the same luck.
Not so lucky. Zuna now slowing down HeroesHearth, hit by a stun. Does he have jet propulsion body blocked anyway? Uses the bunker, trying to get some time for that. Knocked out of it. There he goes, jet propulsioning in. But when you're in that situation, teams are so good now at being able to recognize when you would like to use that and body blocking, so there's never a shot. Now with that staggered death, Simplicity is just going to give up a lot of those altars, setting them back 10 to 25, but in hopes that they can get this bottom back under their control.
Ishbu and BBJ have made their way in to support Crowan.
Boss.
And Boss, well, I hear that Phoenix does some damage, Gilly.
It's not enough to have your banner. up at the boss. You must spray too. It's all about the swag.
You know everybody's watching.
It's all about the swag.
When you get that sneaky boss play, you know everybody's watching. We'll find you on camera. Don't worry about that. Even talent tiers here for Simplicity, seeing if they can take a fight. Gilly, it felt like not too long ago it was just 28-24 in favor of HeroesHearth. We now see 25-6 up at the top, and that is a mountain to climb for Simplicity.
A lot of that has just been that HeroesHearth gets slight talent tier leads. It's not even that much. It's 1 level or less. But they are impactful with those winning fights, winning bell towers, ensuring that they had more shots. And a big deal was getting that bottom bell tower right before such a crucial altar phase. Now, we're looking at a single altar phase. This is not lights out for Simplicity if they lose this, but it does make things even scarier. And if they lose a fight, there's going to be things like sappers behind this. HeroesHearth Esports now knows with those towers down, they can try to quickly take that bell tower under their control and close this game out on Simplicity's best battleground.
Well, here we go. The Dragon Arrow is there. Planet Cracker follow-up. Bunker goes down. BBJ comes in to confirm the kill onto Raynor. Perfect follow-up, perfect execution, and I cannot compliment BBJ enough. The aggression from a support like that, that is exactly what you want to see. Simplicity trying to come back, warp out of the pulse bomb, and now the counter kills coming in for HeroesHearth. As you said, might just be enough to try and close this game out. They're going to move mid. They're going to take down the bottom bell tower. If they can confirm both, that is enough shots to end the game, and I think that's their focus.
That rotation could not have been swifter. Absolute perfection from HeroesHearth, and no doubt what we would hope to see from this team. They split, sending McIntyre and Arthalon up. K1 Pro is here with Tiger JK, seeing if they can slow this down, but Murden's already into position to start channeling, so if absolutely necessary, he can do that, but now he will do that, and that'll be game.
HeroesHearth, it's all the little things. You mentioned it just recently, the slight advantage in experience, the slight advantage on talent tiers, it just starts to pile up. Increment after increment after increment. That's something that HeroesHearth does so incredibly well. Is they find the small things, they gain advantages, and then they take advantage of those things that they've afforded themselves. It's just fun to watch this team play right now. Simplicity, they fought back and they fought hard in the team fights. But the synergy that HeroesHearth has in their setup it's a thing to behold.